So this is what it's going to look like. That's not very, you can't really see it. So I've already joined my squares here. But because it's the same colour, you're not going to be able to really see what I'm doing. So I'm going to use a different colour, but we actually do use white if you're following my colour scheme. You're using the same colour as what we used on the last row of the granny square, okay? So, but I'm going to use a different colour so you can see what I'm doing and it'll be easier for you to figure it out. So I might just pick the lightest colour. So we're going to grab 2 of our granny squares that have all our borders and everything on there. And we are going to put them good sides up. So put one on top of the other like so, good sides up. So that's the good side and this is the good side. Then we are going to grab our yarn. We're going to join it into the corner stitch of the granny square that's on the bottom, so the one that's closest to us. We're going to join into the second stitch. So join that yarn in there. We're going to work a half double crochet into the same stitch. And what we do is we half double crochet into the one that's closest to us and we slip stitch into that one. Okay, so we grab this, and I'm probably going to make it look really awkward because I'm working over a video camera and sitting really weird. But you can't tell because you can't see that bit. So grab the coordinating stitch. So we joined in the corner of this one. We want the corner stitch on that one. So we've got 3 stitches. So it's this one. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so keeping this tension reasonably tight, and we're going to grab the yarn. So I've gone through the corner stitch on my other granny square, grabbing the yarn and pull through for a slip stitch. Coming back to the one that's on the bottom square. So I'll refer to this one as the bottom square and that one as the top square. Okay, so we're going to half double crochet into the next stitch and work your half double crochet. Going into the top granny square, finding the next stitch along, half double, slip stitch into that one. Yarn over, go into the next stitch of the bottom square, working it, getting myself tied up. Told you I'd make it look awkward. Half double crochet into that square. I find this really easy to do on my lap. And of course I'm not on my lap at the moment. So slip stitching into the top square. Half double crochet down the bottom. Now you could also use single crochet for this joining method as well. And I call this my Jessica O joining method because I learnt it from my friend Jessica. So hi Jessica if you're watching. I mean, I'm sure it's got a proper name, but I call it my Jessica O method. So do you get how to do it now? So it's half double crochet in the bottom square and slip stitch up the top. So I'm going to just turn the camera off so you don't have to sit there and watch me and get bored. And I'm going to join all the way across to the end of our squares up there. And when we come up to the end, we'll know our last stitch because it will be sort of half double crochet down there, and I'm going to slip stitch, and our last part will be in the second stitch of that corner there. Okay, so that was second stitch up that one, so it's half double crochet down to that one, and just making sure that is my second square. So it's looking good, isn't it, that join? I really like it. Like I said, you can use a single crochet as well. Now to join more squares, we've got our 2 squares sitting like that. I really wish I could zoom out a lot further with this camera, but I can't. So move that across, grabbing 2 more. We are going to put good sides up, so make sure they're the good sides up. And what I did you just see how I just turned the square? What I'm doing is putting my tails on the outside edge, because it was like that, so it was on one of the joins, so I don't want it on one of the joins. I want it on the outside edge. So to join the next lot in, we're going to join across here. And it is going to look funny because when we join that, we're going to have this open here, but we're going to come back down across and join those ones. So grabbing your yarn. So what have we done there? We've done a half double crochet. So was it? Yes, that was our last stitch. So we need to find the center square. So we're half double crocheting into that one. You need to have your tension tight. I'm just gonna. That's better. So half double, especially tight in this join section. We don't want it really loose and yucky. We want it nice and firm so that we don't get any holes when we join it. So grabbing the center stitch, that one. And what I do is I use my thumb to like poke the yarn around the back so I can grab it easily. Going into the next stitch for a half double crochet. Into the next available stitch because we just went into that one. And slip stitch. And we're going to work this all the way across like we did just on that previous square. I'll meet up to you when we are up at the end of. So I've finished the end of my row exactly like the other one that we did. So now we've got some sort of freaky looking butterfly. So what we want to do is, let's see if I can, see I can't really zoom out, can I? Just hang on a minute. I'm going to pull you back like that. Is that a bit easier for you to see? We've got our 4 squares joined together. Now these seams here and the seams up there are open, but the one across there is joined. Now if you were going to make use this joining method for a different Afghan, you would join all your squares like that. So you'd grab your next 2 and you'd put them like we did with these ones on this side and just join all the way across. And you just join the 2 like that all the way across. And then you would grab your next ones and join them all the way across on this bottom seam here. Then when you've got all your joins going across ways, then you can start doing the ones that go up and down. So we're going to do the up and down ones now. So grabbing your hook, we're going to spin it round. Now I don't want to cut my yarn off up there because I'm only using this for the demo. I'm actually going to go and join this again in white. So we pretend that we've cut our yarn off at the end of the row. And you all know that I haven't, but that doesn't matter. We're going to join this one. So making sure you're in the video screen clear, that would help. we're going to join our yarn into the corner stitch. So it's exactly what we did before in the other squares. Going to chain 1, half double crochet into that same stitch, grabbing your other top square, finding the corner stitch on that one and pulling through. Now see how there's a lot of yarn there? We want to make sure there's not. So if we pull that through and just give it a bit of a tug, and I'm tugging on this one as well just to make that nice and snug. Because we're joining our squares, we don't want any holes in it. So excuse me, I'll just grab some yarn. So we've done our half double crochet. I'm going to go up into the top stitch, grabbing our yarn and pulling through, doing the half double crochet down there. See how I'm using my thumb to maneuver that around. We're going to work across, and I'm going to just do it off camera, and I'll stop here so we can show you what to do. So I'm coming up to my join. I've got my center stitch left there and also up there. I've just done a half double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch into the top one, half double crochet, oh hang on, my yarn's stuck, into there. But I'm actually going to grab the yarn and it's going to come across the center of the blanket. Can you see that? See how the yarn is laying across the little join there? So we're going to work our half double crochet. Now I'm onto the next 2 squares. I'm going to slip, because I've just done a half double crochet, so I need to slip stitch up into that corner stitch. And then I'm going to half double crochet down into the bottom corner stitch and continue across. And there we go, we have our squares joined. You may need to just sort of fix it up a little bit there, make it look all pretty, and you continue across all the way until you get to the other end of your square. I have all my joins done now. I've just redone that blue bit we just did then in white so that it matches the rest of my blanket. So we've joined our squares. Now we want to work 2 rows around the outside of all the squares. So we're just going to go around and all the way across and work one round around. That's a mouthful. Around our 4 squares that we've got. So you can join anywhere on the outside of the squares. It doesn't really matter. I just join in the corner. I think it's just habit. That's where you join most of the time, isn't it? So laying our yarn across. And I'm going to work over my tail as I go. Chain 1 to secure. Into the corner stitches, we work 3 half double crochets. So every time we come to a corner, we are working into that second stitch into the corner, which is here. There's our first one and there's our second one. Work 3 half double crochets, and every stitch across it's just 1 half double crochet. So that's really, really easy, isn't it? So we're just working half double crochets across. Remember, when we get to our corner stitch, to work our 3 half double crochets, work all the way around until we get back to the beginning. When we get to the join, I forgot to mention this part, but I'm sure you may have already figured it out. When we get to the join, we're going to half double crochet into the side of the join there. And you may find you need 2 stitches. This is where we're going to crochet next into the square, so I will need another stitch over here, otherwise it's going to be too much of a jump. And then I'm going to work into the corner space of the square. See? You want to work stitches so that you don't want any big gaps like that. So I needed 2 stitches to make it look really nice. So we want to try and make that look as smooth as we can. So continue around, and now I will meet you back at the beginning. When we get to the end, that's just an end I've worked over, we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first half double crochet. And then we're going to cut off our yarn. And we're going to join in the second darkest blue. Now I don't know if these are standing out very well on the camera, but that's my darkest blue. So it's the colour that you use for that row there, which for me is my second darkest blue. And we're going to join this one into the corner space, or the corner stitch I should say. Work a chain 1, three half double crochets into the corner stitch, and half double crochet across. And just like the row before, we're going to be working 3 half double crochets into the corner stitch. And we're going to continue this around until we get back to the beginning. And after the row of blue, we're going to work another row of white in the half double crochet. So it's just repeating this round. So you'll have the last granny square row, darkest blue, 2 rows of white, the next darkest blue, and then another row of white. Once we have all 4 panels done, we're going to join with the joining method across there and then across down the center there. So go and join that, and I'll meet up with you when we have basically our whole blanket joined together. Now that I have all my panels joined together, all the seams are done, I'm going to work a row of white, or a round of white, around the outside, and that is going to neaten up the edges that we've got where the joins are, just like we did when we did the other panels. So I'm going to work a row of white, or sorry, I should say round. It's not a row, it's a round of white all the way around the outside. And then I'm going to change the blue. So this row here was the dark blue. Then we had the next least dark, I guess you want to call it. It's nighttime here and I'm tired, so my words aren't coming out right. So we're basically working from the dark into the middle into the lighter. So that's what I'm going to do. This row here was the dark row, and then this blue row was the next row in. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to put a row of white in between each blue just to separate. I think that will look really nice. So that will be, I'm just counting as I go, so a row of white, then the third blue, row of white, the fourth blue, and a row of white. So that's 5 more rows to go around the outside, and that will be the border of my blanket. And if you stay tuned, you'll see what I have in a minute after I come back with the camera. So here we go, I finished my blanket. I think this looks really, really awesome. So I will show you the border, what colours I used. That's how I do my border. Of course you can do yours different if you want to. These are actually 2 different colours, but in the screen it's not turning out like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please share your creations on our Facebook page. I would love to see yours, and also the Google Plus page. All the links are in the description box below the video. Don't forget to subscribe, as there will be plenty more videos to come. And until next time, happy crocheting.